There is a secret Marvel movie coming out between Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, and we know what it is. Hey, welcome back to ScreenCrush, I'm Colton Ogburn, and there are some fun new reports coming out about Avengers Doomsday that have me thinking that Marvel has a secret movie up their sleeve. And I think it's all connected to these two empty chairs from Fantastic Four First Steps and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Now, spoiler warning for Avengers Doomsday, not because anything I'm about to say is confirmed, but because we are going to be referencing a few reports that are, well, everywhere. Spoiler alert! But still, there's your spoiler warning. Still here? Cool. Knew the cool ones would stick around. So the first report is that Doomsday is heavily based on Jonathon Hickman's New Avengers and his 2015 Secret Wars. And the second report is that Doctor Doom will have a wizard sidekick in Doomsday who uses a sling ring and has a slit in his Doomish mask for a third eye. So, I mean, come on. So it's Doctor Strange. Got it. But more on that in a bit. So let's start with the news that they are directly adapting Hickman's work for Doomsday and how that gives us a huge clue as to what is going to happen in this movie. But it also gives us a clue about a secret team of missing heroes who are on their own mission behind the scenes during the events of Doomsday.
Oh, you mean like the Illuminati?
Yes. Well, kind of. So if I asked you to name the 3 multiverse saga projects that did the most setup for the multiverse and what's all to come in Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, I think we would all come up with the same 3. The Loki series, Spider-Man No Way Home, and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Yes, agreed.
But here's what's odd. 2 of those 3 characters are not announced to appear in Avengers Doomsday, and the one who is confirmed to return, Loki, he's reported to have a very small role in the film. But why? Why would Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, and Loki not have significant roles to play in the very culmination movie that their solo projects of this saga were all building toward? Well, in a recent interview with Tom Hiddleston, we may have gotten a clue as to why.
Do you have a favorite Spider-Man of all time?
For reasons I cannot disclose. Tom Holland.
So we all know by this point that Avengers Doomsday wasn't always going to be Avengers Doomsday. Originally, it was Avengers the Kang Dynasty, and it's that pivot from Kang Dynasty to Doomsday that I think has derailed the plans that Marvel had for Loki, Spider-Man, and Doctor Strange, but just temporarily. These 3 characters will certainly have a big part to play in Avengers Secret Wars, but before they join the rest of the cast in Secret Wars, we need a movie that tells us what these 3 have been up to, leading up to, and during the events of Doomsday. And that movie is Doctor Strange 3, Time Runs Out, a movie that will serve as a direct sequel to Multiverse of Madness and as a movie that leads directly into Secret Wars. So, Time Runs Out, which was also done by Jonathon Hickman, and which consists of his New Avengers books that we just talked about, it's the prelude comic that leads straight into the 2015 Secret Wars. Now, in that arc of the comics, we see incursions beginning to happen. Remember, incursions are
when the boundary between 2 worlds collides, destroying one or both entirely. Yeah, we got it.
Right. So I won't recap the whole story here, but essentially we see Captain America refusing to even entertain the idea of destroying another reality to save their own, while the Illuminati, consisting of characters like Reed Richards, Tony Stark, Doctor Strange, Black Panther, Namor, Black Bolt, and later Beast, they're all secretly destroying other universes in order to save their own. Now, this is exactly what we saw the Illuminati do in Universe 838 in Multiverse of Madness when they were encountered with an incursion. And this is exactly what the X-Men are rumored to be doing in Avengers Doomsday. Many reports have indicated that in Avengers Doomsday, the Fox X-Men universe will be a universe that has been experiencing many incursions, and they have been tasked with the responsibility of destroying these other universes to keep their own safe. Now, as we'll discuss a little later, it's also in the Time Runs Out comic where Doctor Strange ends up going on this rogue mission to save the multiverse, once realizing that the Illuminati can't stop these incursions from happening. And eventually, Doctor Strange joins Doctor Doom, and he even becomes a character called Sheriff Strange in Doom's Battle World in Secret Wars, but again, we'll get to that here shortly.
You lost me.
Okay, let me try to get back on track. So in the comics, after the Time Runs Out arc, we see the whole multiverse collapse. Dr. Doom, now God Emperor Doom, forms Battleworld, and in Battleworld, none of the heroes remember their past lives or the realities that they came from. Doctor Strange is one of the few who does remember the old world, or at least pieces of it. And Strange serves as a key right-hand man to Doom, helping to keep Battleworld intact and monitor groups like the Cabal, a group of survivors who are a threat to Doom's rule. But see, I really am getting ahead of myself, because that's what we are likely to see happen in Secret Wars. But to get there, they have to have these key pieces of the Time Runs Out story told on screen. And while big chunks of it I'm sure will be told in Doomsday, it is still important that we see chunks of that story told from the perspective of Doctor Strange.
Hey, good news.
Doug, why did I just get a large transaction notification?
Because I just bought myself a little car.
I'm sorry, buddy, that puts us over budget.
Ah, jeez, I hate the budget.
Yeah, but it's gonna be so worth it this year, buddy. I mean, we are saving so much money. My bank account, it used to drain the first week of every month, but then Rocket Money helped me plan my budget, lower my bills, and grow my savings. That's why I love recommending Rocket Money and partnering with them for this video. Rocket Money helped me to realize that I was spending $45 every month on subscriptions that I forgot I had. And I can now cancel the subscription straight from the app. Look, I am not a numbers guy. I just want to live my life, talk about movies, and not constantly be ticking line items off a budget. And that is why I love Rocket Money. It analyzed our accounts and it created a custom budget based on my spending habits. And this keeps me from making frivolous purchases like Doug's little car.
Ah, jeez.
And get this, one time we signed up for a free trial for a video stock footage service, and they were about to charge us $2,600 for the whole year. But Rocket Money alerted us that the charge was about to happen, and we canceled the subscription. Rocket Money is free to download, but you can get a free premium trial when you sign up with my link or click the QR code on screen right now. Go to rocketmoney.com/ScreenCrush or click the link in the description. Now, back to what I was saying. So that Illuminati that we met from Universe 838, they're all dead, all except Mordo. But after Strange's experience with the multiverse and his encounter with that Illuminati and now his recruitment by Clea, I think we could see Strange open to the idea of beginning to put together an Illuminati of his own to protect not only his universe, but the multiverse as a whole. And members of his team could be characters that he has had direct interactions with in the MCU. Characters like Loki, Spider-Man, and the Hulk. You see, Spider-Man No Way Home and Multiverse of Madness, they really were like this 1-2 punch that were building toward Kang Dynasty. In No Way Home, Doctor Strange tampered with the very fabric of the multiverse by irresponsibly casting a spell for Peter Parker to make the world forget that he's Spider-Man. This was Strange's first true experience with the multiverse.
The multiverse is a concept about which we know frighteningly little.
Then came Multiverse of Madness, where he battled the Scarlet Witch, who sought to steal the power of a multiversal traveler, America Chavez, and this movie expanded even further Strange's knowledge of the multiverse. And then came the end of that film when, yes, he is recruited by Clea to stop an incursion that she claims he started.
You caused an incursion, and we're gonna fix it.
So the title of Avengers Doomsday is a double entendre. Yes, Dr. Doom is the villain of the movie, but even more so, this movie is about the MCU's literal doomsday. There is a live doomsday clock ticking right now on Marvel's YouTube channel. This movie is about not only the end of the world, but the end of the entire multiverse. So you would think that Doctor freaking Strange, Loki, and Spider-Man would be out on the field, and guess what? They are, just not in Doomsday. And I think the reason that characters like Strange, Spidey, Hulk, and Loki aren't in Doomsday is because they are busy elsewhere trying to save the multiverse. Now, if we call this movie, this Time Runs Out adaptation, Doctor Strange Time Runs Out, and the movie ultimately serves as a Doctor Strange threequel, then who's the most obvious villain for the film? The guy that they've been teasing for years, Mordo. And by having Mordo, you get some more connective tissue with Multiverse of Madness and Universe 838. I mean, one of my biggest complaints about this pivot that we've seen happen like after Quantumania, it's not only that a lot of the setup that Loki and No Way Home and Multiverse of Madness seem to be building toward has now been thwarted, but also it's just this complete abandonment of that Universe 838. A universe that, according to Clea, the MCU is in the midst of an incursion with right now. A universe where the MCU Scarlet Witch dreamwalked into the body of her variant self himself and straight up slaughtered that universe's team of protectors. You would think there'd be some consequences for that and some loose ends that need to be tied up. And that's what this movie, Doctor Strange Time Runs Out, will address. It will replace Kang Dynasty as a wrap-up for the loose ends left behind by the earlier films of the multiverse saga, tying everything up in a nice bow to converge with what happens with Doomsday and then of course lead into Secret Wars. I think following the massacre at the Illuminati headquarters in Universe 838, we will see a new Illuminati begin to form to avenge their fallen heroes and to address the incursion that was caused. And who will form this team? Well, one of the only surviving members alongside Mordo, Dr. Doom. Now, we all have our favorite theories about RDJ's Doctor Doom, but as Doomsday approaches, it is looking more and more likely that Doctor Doom will be the Doctor Doom of Universe 828, the Fantastic Four First Steps universe. Now, in that universe, we saw an empty chair for Latveria, and it has been confirmed that Doomsday will address why that chair was empty. My personal theory: he's been traveling the multiverse, he's been aware of the incursions, and he has been trying to fix them in his own doomy way. Now, speaking of empty chairs that are theorized to have belonged to a Robert Downey Jr. character, there's the one from Multiverse of Madness on the 838 Illuminati dais. We know Universe 838 had an Ultron-manned Iron Legion.
Ultron commands you to halt.
And sure, this group of Ultron bots, they could be the creation of this universe's Hank Pym. He did, after all, create Ultron in the comics, but the more likely answer is that this universe has an RDJ. Whether that RDJ is an Iron Man or a Doctor Doom is unclear. He could be a Doom pretending to be that universe's Tony Stark, or for simplicity's sake, the Ultron bots could serve as his Doom bots, like in the comics, but I don't care. That's not relevant to this video. We've got plenty of videos up on the channel talking about that. Not relevant to this one. So anyway.
Oh, you get the point!
Come Doomsday, I think that we could learn that just like in Hickman's comics, Doom has been traveling the multiverse. And imagine a scenario where in Time Runs Out, Doom returns to Universe 838, a universe where he is also an active character in that universe. Everybody just assumes that he is of that universe, but he's not. He is a Doctor Doom of Universe 838 and a Doctor Doom of Universe 828, and perhaps a Doctor Doom of multiple other universes where he has established a connection. And there, once in Universe 838, he discovers that his entire Illuminati team of that universe has been killed, except for the sorcerer, Mordo, who tells Doom everything that has transpired. We could then see Doom recruit Mordo and 838, Wanda Maximoff, to join his ranks in their quest to right the wrongs of Universe 616 and bring balance to the multiverse. Now, it's been reported by several outlets and even teased in the merchandising and at RDJ's Comic-Con announcement as Doctor Doom that there will be multiple people in Doom cloaks and masks that serve as Doom's team in this movie. They are the harbingers of Doom, just like in the comics. And like many reports have suggested, some of these harbingers are, quote, witches, and this recent rumor is that Doom's right-hand man, like we talked about off the top, is a wizard. So the witch that I think could be on this team could of course be the 838 Wanda. But there are two options for the wizard. The wizard could be Mordo, sure, but if these reports are true about a third eye, I think it'd be even more interesting if we learn that it's Doctor Strange. Keep in mind, this movie I'm pitching you would come out between Doomsday and Secret Wars. Like how Ant-Man and the Wasp takes place mostly before Infinity War, but it came out after it, the same would be true for this movie. I mean, imagine if at the end of Doomsday, we see Doom unmasked for the first time, and underneath that mask is RDJ, just like was teased when they announced him at Comic-Con, and he was surrounded by other masked Dooms. Once he unmasks, the heroes will be in shock, thinking that maybe he's Tony, and then we can see the other harbingers begin to unmask. The powerful witch harbinger can remove her mask, and oh my god, it's Wanda. The powerful wizard removes his mask, oh my god, it's Doctor Strange, and so on and so on. And then this movie, Time Runs Out, which takes place before Doomsday and alongside Doomsday, but comes out after, this movie could give us the context of how they all got there. This unmasking scene in Doomsday, I think, will be a major cliffhanger that happens at the very end of the movie, so this secret movie can then show us how they became part of Doom's team. And it can also tell us why they were seemingly absent in most of Doomsday, but as we'll then know, they weren't absent, they were there. They were the harbingers. So I think this movie could open with Clea and Strange traveling the multiverse, picking up right where Multiverse of Madness left off. In fact, a few years ago, there were rumors that they were going to do a Doctor Strange Time Runs Out movie that would pick up right where Multiverse of Madness left off. So the movie could open, we see them attempting to stop an incursion, and the film can then lean on the fact that pretty much anyone who is seeing this movie has already seen Avengers Doomsday. It can then be revealed in that movie that Clea works with another sorcerer, and he is the one who sent her to recruit Strange. And we'll all have a loose idea of who that sorcerer could be. We can see Clea and Strange travel back to Universe 838 where they reconnect with Wanda and Mordo. And that's sure to be an awkward encounter because Mordo just tried to kill Strange the last time they saw each other.
I think I'm beginning to understand why your Mordo didn't like you very much!
So Strange will briefly be under the impression that Mordo is the mysterious sorcerer that Clea had mentioned, but no. Mordo will make clear that he wasn't on board with bringing Strange into the fold, but that he, Wanda, and Clea are all answering to another sorcerer. The mysterious other sorcerer Strange has yet to meet will then of course later be revealed as Dr. Doom. So at this point, we're starting to see a team assemble. Doctor Strange, Clea, Mordo, and Wanda Maximoff, a powerful team of wizards and witches that line up perfectly with the rumored harbingers of doom. Strange would naturally ask where this other sorcerer that they're all working under is, and he will be told that he's busy recruiting others. And we, after having seen Avengers Doomsday, will know that he is off recruiting probably the Fantastic Four and maybe even Steve Rogers. Alright, so this is where I think Spider-Man and Hulk come into play. We know that Spider-Man and Hulk are both, of course, in Spider-Man Brand New Day, but both are missing from the cast lineup of Avengers Doomsday, and I think that's because they are with Doctor Strange. Maybe Brand New Day even has a post-credit scene where Strange comes for Peter like Clea came for Strange at the end of Multiverse of Madness. We've heard many reports that indicate that we will be seeing Professor Hulk transform back into his rage-filled Berserker Hulk in Brand New Day, some even suggesting that we'd see the emergence of the Grey Hulk or maybe even Maestro.
Puny Banner died a long time ago. There's only the Maestro now.
This could perfectly set the stage for these missing characters to be a part of Doom's team of harbingers. And they too could be revealed at the end of Doomsday during that unmasking scene. Maybe Spider-Man is even given the black suit, which he originally does acquire for the very first time in the original 1984 Secret Wars. So while in Doomsday, at the end of Doomsday, it'll be a big, oh, what the Spider-Man, Hulk, Wanda, Doctor Strange, this dude that looks like Tony Stark is Dr. Doom, Time Runs Out, however, will show us how they all got there. So yeah, I think that these characters who were big parts of the pre-pivot for the multiverse saga, Doctor Strange, Wanda, Spider-Man, in this Time Runs Out movie, that is where we'll learn what they have been up to and how they wound up with Dr. Doom. Oh, and by the way, I think Clea or Doom totally kill Mordo the second he tries some shit on Strange, and by doing so, they will gain Strange's trust and loyalty. I mean, I could totally see the movie being about this group of characters trying to stop incursions, and then Mordo trying to sabotage Strange at some point, and then in the third act, we see Doom enter the picture and just kill dude right on the spot and meet all of his new recruits, leading us into that third act of Doomsday that we will have already seen. But you will notice that a certain witch is missing from this team lineup that I have given you, and that witch is Loki.
I'm not a witch.
No? Why'd you dress like one?
I am very conflicted on Loki. On one hand, it would make perfect sense for Loki to be on this team of mostly magic-wielding harbingers. He is a sorcerer, and he would fit right in with this team of heroes who are known to break bad. Scarlet Witch, Mordo, Strange, Maestro Hulk, Black Suit Spider-Man, they're all morally ambiguous. But Loki really has grown beyond that part of his character, and in a lot of ways, he has become the moral center of the MCU, and I would hate to see them backtrack his character. Now, there is, of course, a way you can do it, such as Loki feeling like Doom isn't evil and is truly offering him a way out and a way to save the multiverse, since Loki's way really is just kind of kicking the can down the road because universes, even under Loki's watch, are still dying. So we could totally see Loki wind up on Doom's team. Now, it's been heavily rumored that in Doomsday, we see Loki move Steve Rogers from the splintered timeline that he created when he went back to live a life with Peggy, that Loki moves him over to the Fantastic Four's universe, Universe 828, so they could live in peace. Now, rumors also suggest that that is one of 2 times that we see Loki in the movie. that scene at the beginning and then another scene at the end. Now, Loki's scene at the end of the movie and his absence from the throne could then be revealed when we see him unmask himself as a harbinger of doom, and Time Runs Out could then show us how he got there. But as cool as all that sounds, I'm kind of leaning toward Loki being the odd man out. I think Doom and Strange and Clea, they will all try to convince Loki to join their ranks, but Loki will refuse. And this is what puts a target on his back in Doomsday. And with Tom Hiddleston saying that Tom Holland is his favorite Spider-Man for reasons he cannot disclose, maybe in this Time Runs Out movie, we see Loki be the one to recruit Spider-Man, perhaps even the Hulk, putting together his own multiversal team of Avengers. Maybe that includes a Hugh Jackman Wolverine, a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. We'll just have to see. Now, I know that was a lot of yapping. I hope it was coherent. In short, I think we may get a Doctor Strange movie in between Doomsday and Secret Wars, and it could serve as a film that picks up on some loose ends that really got left on the dying multiversal vine that is Avengers the Kang Dynasty. And that movie will essentially serve as an elsewhere during the events of Avengers Doomsday type movie, and leading all, of course, to Secret Wars, where all the characters and storylines will converge. But hey, those are just my thoughts and theories. I would love to hear yours down in the comments below. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified every time we upload a new video. You can also feel free to check me out on my personal channel, link in the description below. For ScreenCrush, I'm Colton Ogburn.